Well, new reporting from the Texas Tribune is shedding light on how the push to limit discussions about gender identity at universities across Texas is now bleeding into medical schools. Stephen Simpson is one of the reporters with the Texas Tribune who broke the story earlier this week. He joins us now live to explain what's happening in classrooms and how the medical world is reacting. Stephen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, your story starts by talking about a transgender educator who has spent decades teaching students at medical schools about how to better deliver treatment to transgender and non-binary people, not about hormone replacement therapy or gender transition surgeries. What are they seeing right now?
So pretty much they have, for the past decade, been going into these medical schools teaching what is known as gender affirming care, which is kind of goes beyond just hormone replacement surgery. It's about medical records, how to put gender down on medical forms and things like that. But over the past couple of years, he's seen his appearances dry up to zero due to some of these transgender restriction topics on these classrooms that have been enforced the past 2 years.
Now, this, in effect, is that policy shift at institutions across the state to limit gender identity discussions in the classroom, like you just said. Tell us about some of the universities doing this and what they are changing.
So one of the main ones that's been proactive about this has been Texas Tech University Systems. Main thing they have done is pretty much constrict all transgender topics out of the classroom, except for in clinical settings. Today, we actually received an email from someone that said even the clinical settings have some restrictions on them. What this has done is pretty much removed all ability to talk about transgender care out of the medical school.
So what are the reactions from faculty members at these institutions? I mean, what is the impact of these restrictions?
Well, there's been a couple of multiple series from faculty members. One, consider this a restriction on pretty much free speech, not taking the ability to speak what they want to in the classroom. But also it's a medical risk. By not having these students trained on how to take care of transgender population, you're pretty much turning people into lab rats is what they call it. And they said that's pretty much taking all the progress they made over the past 20 years in this healthcare space and just reverts it backwards.
I mean, that includes how to screen trans people for depression, where CDC data shows transgender teens face a significantly higher suicide risk. All right, so what about university officials? What did they have to say about this?
So we reached out to pretty much every medical school across the state. We didn't really get much of a reaction, but we do have the words of Texas Tech University Chancellor, which is Brandon Creighton, which has said that they view this as a place of education, not a place for politics or ideological issues. And I guess that's what they view a lot of these transgender topics as.
Well, what about some of the concerns you're hearing about the lack of equitable care, Stephen?
Well, a lot of this comes down to what we've heard from various faculty, people out in the medical professional field, is that if we don't have the training, then how are we supposed to take care of these people? And if we can't take care of them, then that means people are going to be hurt, injured, have problems at the hospitals. And for the worst case scenario, people could die in the waiting rooms if people don't know how to treat these transgender population.
Stephen Simpson, we hope you continue to track this. We appreciate your time, Stephen, with the Texas Tribune, breaking this story for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.